You know, these guys right here from Harlem made us dress different, talk different, walk different, rap different, all the way in Canada. So please, the pride of New York to me, make some motherfucking noise for the Dips.
Drake had the same type of run, if not more phenomenal than Dre in this present era.
He did.
We've never seen nothing like that happen.
Drake has to be in the top 5.
If you're not putting Drake in the top 2 of all time, like what are we gonna do? We're gonna keep putting shade on his name?
Drake just went all in behind Jim Jones, right after Jim wilded out and claimed he's better than Nas. But the real reason Drake's suddenly backing Jim, it ain't just loyalty, it's pure spite. Here's what really happened. Drake thought he and Nas were still cool, but the second Pusha T announced Nas would be featured on that upcoming Clipse album, Drake lost it. That move hit a nerve, and Drake didn't just take it personal, he took it as betrayal. So now, instead of keeping it low, Drake switched teams and linked with Jim. The same Jim Jones that's been dragging Nas through the mud. While most of the rap game backed off Jim for the disrespect, Drake doubled down and put a battery in his back. And now Jim, he's running with it. He's out here gassing Drake up like never before, calling him the GOAT, better than Nas, better than Harv, better than anybody who's ever spit a verse. It's getting delusional at this point. But that's not even the wildest part. Jim is also going extra hard defending Drake's legal fight with Universal Music Group. That's right, Drake is suing his own label for letting Kendrick release Not Like Us. And guess who's spinning it like Drake's doing it for the culture? Jim. Yep, that's where we're at now. Jim's playing hype man and Drake's using him as a weapon. This is way deeper than rap beef. This is turning into a full-blown alliance of chaos. While the whole industry's clowning Drake for running to court after taking an L in a rap battle, Jim Jones is still riding for him like he's on payroll.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy.
Big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
so
well,
to be compared,
let me
that young kid out.
He was young, and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down.
Let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I gotta show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. You want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there.
Hold on.
I want to go down the line now, because now we going down the line. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
let's go statistically.
It feels great.
No, but I want to go statistically, because when people be like,
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
And forget about the numbers. There's nothing that could, there's never, is me. When you putting me up against anybody, I'm taking me every time. Every time.
Supposed to.
Okay,
every
but
time.
let me say something though, Jim.
In every category, I get bit.
Now folks are starting to wonder, are these two really serious? Or is this just one big stunt for attention? Are they that desperate for clout? Or do they truly believe they're speaking facts and everyone else is lost? Let's break it down. Jim Jones lit a whole match under the culture when he said he's better than Nas. And no, that ain't a joke. He really said it like it was gospel. And when the internet went nuclear on him, did Jim back down? Not even a little. He stood on it, loud and proud, talking about how he's the reason Nas went viral again after all these years. But come on now. Fans weren't buying that nonsense for a second. Comment sections went off, calling it blasphemy, calling it disrespect on a whole other level. People were confused, mad, and straight up roasting Jim like, who told you this was okay?
What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life. You did. The last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing when him and Jay was beating on him. You heard?
Even though Jim's been grinding in the game for over 2 decades, the second he tried to put himself next to Nas, everything he ever did just got erased in people's minds. The disrespect was that strong. Why? Simple. Nas is one of those few legendary names that everybody respects. Doesn't matter what coast you're on, what era you rep, Nas is untouchable. So when Jim tried to step in that lane, fans weren't just mad, they were offended.
Jim Jones. Nas.
Nas or Jim Jones? Nas.
Nas or Jim Jones? Nas. All right. Nas or Jim Jones? Is that a serious question? Yes, it is. Nas, bro. Jim Jones is a clown. Nas or Jim Jones?
Come on. Is that a question?
Yo,
Is that a question?
hey, yo.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Come
though.
on.
I ain't saying who.
Yo.
Nas
Nas for the culture.
All right. Nas or Jim Jones?
Said Nas or Jim Jones? Oh, Nas.
Nas dropped Illmatic at just 20, and decades later, he's still snatching Grammys like it's nothing. And it's not just fans keeping his name in gold. Even rap legends like RZA are out here calling him a genius. RZA literally said, Nas is the Bobby Fischer of MCs. That's not just praise. That's master-level lyricist talk. This ain't checkers. It's high-level chess, and Nas plays it better than anyone. But Jim, he still won't back down, not even a little. He just teased an upcoming interview with Angie Martinez. And from the energy, he's still talking wild about Nas. So now folks are asking, what does respect even mean anymore? Because if you scroll through the comments, fans are fed up.
Nas a Bobby Fischer of MCs. Because Bobby Fischer was the youngest MC youngest chess master
player, right.
to master. He became a grand master at the youngest age.
Right.
There's a few that beat him over the years,
Right.
but he was the first one at that age to be, and Nas was a master at the age of 16, 17,
Right.
where most of us, cause you met us, we was already in our 20s.
Right.
He was at the age of 17, 18, dope as somebody that was 25, 30.
Right. That's true.
And seriously, he's a prodigy.
They're dragging Jim left and right, calling him out for chasing attention like it's the only thing he knows how to do. One person went in saying, why is this man-child so obsessed with going viral? Another added, he really thinks coming for Nas is gonna move his albums? And then came the most brutal one yet. Someone wrote, how you lose a rap beef you started, and the other dude ain't even rap back? Ouch! And it stings because they're right. Nas hasn't said a single word about Jim. Not one bar, not one post, not even a sneak diss. It's like Nas don't even see him, like he's not worth the time. But just when people thought the circus might be packing up, boom, here comes Drake, jumping into the middle of it all like he's the main character.
Respect means to you.
Respect is definitely something you gotta earn. Respect is something I might not get from everybody, but you're definitely not gonna disrespect.
I was like, yo, we should have Jim on the pod. And then the next day, Jimmy's viral.
This is one of the ways of marketing that is working right now in today's music.
Hi, baby. Where are you at with marriage now? How did you feel about Sierra running up on you at the, you invited?
I know anything Sierra's gonna say is gonna go super viral next to me. I'll take it. I know how to turn my negatives into a positive. Man, I didn't know how many people love Nas.
This ain't even his fight, but he slid in quick, backing Jim and sneak dissing Nas from the sideline. Like, why is Drake this pressed? Drake dropped a slick pic of him and Jim Jones chilling like bosses, and of course Jim dived straight into the comments. He wrote, men of respect, mafia rules, a toast to the last ones left. The vibe, straight mob movie energy. But the internet wasn't buying it at all. Fans lit them up, calling Drake and Jim the two corniest rappers alive. Brutal. And let's be honest, most people don't think Drake jumped in to defend Jim out of loyalty. Nah, this move screams clout chasing. Drake stays addicted to drama like it's his morning coffee. Anything to keep his name trending, anything to keep that spotlight locked on him. Drake's got a history of dipping into beefs just to stir the pot. He thrives on backlash. He wants people talking. And trust, he knows exactly how to make it happen. But let's not act like this came out of nowhere. Drake and Jim got some history. And when that nasty Kendrick battle had everybody roasting Drake, guess who stood tall beside him? Jim Jones.
Really suing Universal.
Man, how many niggas you in the hood you know got lawsuits? How many niggas?
It's different though.
How? How many niggas in the hood you know got lawsuit money? How's it different? He's in a different realm. That's his hood.
But I feel like it's where the lawsuit. I feel like where the lawsuit's coming from.
Listen to me. Where's it coming from?
It's coming from a rap beef. That's giving them the motive to have the lawsuit.
You think about this wrong. You think about a bag, or you think about a rap beef that's imaginary to the people. These are playing on the highest level of fucking entertainment. $1 billion game. Now, if he could catch $1 billion game in the midst of a rap beef,
I think reputation matters. I think your image matters.
Bro, he's not snitching on nobody. He's catching a lawsuit.
No, I'm not. This has nothing to do with I'm not calling him a snitch.
Let's get this together. He's not in a court of law. He's not have a personal suing against Kendrick Lamar, which everybody seems to think that this lawsuit is about. He didn't sue Kendrick Lamar. He sued UMG, which is the biggest company that has the biggest bag. You think I ain't gonna sue Amazon if I ain't get a chance to? Me suing everybody. Any one of them companies I get a chance to playing at that level to sue for billions?
While most of the industry laughed at Drake for suing UMG over Not Like Us, Jim was out here calling it a power move. He stood 10 toes down, no hesitation. Then, in an interview with Angela Yee, Jim took it even further. He said Drake's done more for the culture than most rappers in the game. That take had people gasping like, what? And he wasn't done yet. Jim kept pushing the narrative like Drake's a misunderstood genius and everyone else just doesn't get it. But at this point, fans are starting to wonder, is Jim riding for Drake or just riding the wave? Jim Jones didn't just hype Drake up as one of the best alive, he went all the way and called him the greatest of all time. But wait, it gets even weirder. Jim actually called Drake his spirit animal. Like, what even is going on here? Now, to be fair, Drake's always had love for Jim and Dipset. He's been a Harlem fanboy from early on, name-dropping Cameron, Jules, and Jim like they were blood relatives. Back in 2023, Jim even crowned Drake the honorary 5th member of Dipset. So yeah, there's some real mutual respect in the mix. But don't get it twisted. Drake jumping into this messy Nas versus Jim drama ain't about brotherhood. It's not about street loyalty, and it definitely ain't about any code. This was straight up chess, not checkers. Why? Because right when all this chaos started bubbling, Pusha T and Malice dropped the official track list for that highly anticipated Clipse album, and guess who's featured?
Does Drake stand in hip-hop history?
I would say he's the greatest of all time. The relevancy that he keeps showing year after year, hit after hit, record after record. Any record that he has put out has seemed to go multiple platinum. Like, that's never has happened before in this history. I mean, there's a few other people that do astronomical numbers like that, but he really in it. Like, you know what I mean? From all angles of music. It ain't no place you can't go that they not gonna play some Drake records to get the party started. He moving around here like the real Bruce Wayne. Like, he's my spirit animal, man. I just gotta give credit where credit is due and not taking away from nobody.
NAS. Yup. According to Complex, Nas is locked in on track 12 titled Let God Sort Him Out Chandeliers. And the second that news dropped, hip-hop Twitter exploded. Drake saw that and moved. This wasn't an emotional reaction, it was strategy. This was about legacy, control, and power moves in the middle of rap war territory. So now the question is loud. Was Drake really standing on hip-hop history or just trying not to be left behind by it? So far, there's no confirmation if Nas's verse on the Clipse track is a diss or who he might be targeting. But in a recent Rolling Stone interview, Pusha T said the song is sharp and he's been chasing a Nas collab for years. So yeah, this move wasn't random at all. It was planned. But that's not even the wildest part. Get this.
I have no desire to ever mend anything with that person. And yeah, that situation just went, it just went where it went, and it's just there's no turning back. It's not like those other situations. I'll say at that point, it wasn't even about battle rap or any of that. It was just the information was too shocking. It was, like I said, on his part, it was a genius chess move. He obviously has no when it comes to me, he's not gonna have any morals or respect. So the other elements of the record, whether it be the shit that he's making up about my mom and my dad, and all this dumb shit. Or obviously the part that hit me the most, which is wishing that my friend that has an illness dies. That shit to me is just not really wavy. I'm just not really with that. And when I did say, oh, there's rules to this, I didn't mean there's rules that anybody has to follow. But in battle rap, they just headshotted that guy the other day because he was on stage and he pulled out a picture of the guy's dead aunt and started rapping about, that type of shit. And it's just, it just is what it is. There's a point where you're gonna want to stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something about, you know, your lovely lady or, you know, a child or a family member, and you're just gonna want to not really rap anymore. Yeah. So that's just kind of where I got to. I just had to admit, like, yo, I'm really, you know, and when I was making the record in Response, which was a real record, I know people think it's like some myth. It was like on this Vinyls beat, and I just found myself saying things that, like, one, seemed really out of character, just because I was like deeply invested in the situation and getting very angry, and saying things that I don't know if in 2 years I'd want to hear myself say, and yeah, I just realized that, like, nobody cares about this guy, so there's not really much I can say better than Drake Has a Baby. He won. You know, he won off that.
The Clipse album also features Kendrick Lamar on a track called Chains and Whips, and the entire thing is produced by Pharrell. Now fans are putting the pieces together, and the picture looks messy. Pusha T, Kendrick, Pharrell, all three have long-standing issues with Drake, and now Nas is sitting right in the middle of that crew, locked in on the same project. Let's talk facts. Nas has never had a public beef with Drake, not once. But now that he's teaming up with the exact trio Drake's been beefing with for years, people are saying Nas just made his choice, and it ain't Drake. Some might call that a stretch, but word on the street, insiders close to Drake are saying he's heated. That Nas feature hit him hard. Why? Because it wasn't just about music. It was about who's standing next to who. And when it comes to rap beef, if there's one rapper Drake stays far away from, it's Pusha T. Let's not forget, Pusha's the one who dropped the story of Adidon and tore Drake's whole image to pieces. That track wasn't just a diss, it was a career scar. So now, with Nas, Pusha, Kendrick, and Pharrell all on the same album, Drake's not just mad, he's nervous. Pusha T didn't just diss Drake, he exposed him. The secret son, the undercover relationships, the polished image Drake had been selling for years, all shattered in one brutal track. And even now, Drake still hasn't fully recovered from the fallout. He stayed quiet, tried to play it cool, laughed it off like it didn't sting, but fans remember everything. That was a career moment, and not in a good way. Now enter Nas. He's always been respectful toward Drake's rise. They were never super close, but there was never any tension either. Drake even gave Nas his flowers multiple times, praising his legacy and influence on the game.
What you gonna say to Drake? What you really gonna do with him, man? He's changed the way that we listen to music in the past 10 years wholeheartedly, and everybody that's been around, he's helped change their sound also. For all our favorite rappers, you name the top rapper right now, has helped them tremendously out in their career by just jumping on a record or putting them on a tour. You know what I mean? Like, he's done more for our culture than most of these.
But now, Nas linking up with Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar on the same Clipse album, that ain't just music, it's a message. And to make things spicier, right after Kendrick dropped his album and had the whole world watching after going nuclear on Drake, guess what Nas did? He went on Instagram, posted Kendrick's album cover, and captioned it, "Always inspired by my brother Kendrick Lamar, keeping the essence of this ish alive and at the forefront. Salute King." Yeah, he really said that. So let's fast forward to 2025. Nas isn't just posting about Kendrick anymore, he's in the booth with him on a Clipse project, produced by Pharrell, and standing shoulder to shoulder with Pusha T. That's not just a collab, that's a line in the sand. And best believe, Drake feels it. He's watching all this unfold, and no matter how cool he tries to act, it's personal now. Insiders close to Drake's circle are spilling that he's feeling straight up betrayed. And why? Because in Drake's mind, he's always given Nas nothing but respect. No subs, no sneak disses, no shade, just admiration and props. But now, seeing Nas roll deep with Kendrick, Pusha T, and Pharrell, Drake's biggest ops in the game, that hit different. He feels like Nas switched sides without warning. And that takes us right back to this whole wild Jim Jones drama. A lot of fans believe this is the real reason Drake suddenly jumped to Jim's defense during that out-of-nowhere Nas versus Jim madness. It wasn't about brotherhood, it was chess. Drake saw Nas vibing with the enemy, so he backed the one dude bold enough to go at Nas publicly. He didn't care how messy it looked, it was a power play. This is classic Drake behavior. When his reputation's under pressure, when the spotlight starts drifting, he moves, fast, loud, and sometimes reckless. Drake's not the type to sit in silence while people question his position. If there's even a whiff of disrespect or being left out the conversation, he's gonna stir the pot. Even if the beef ain't about him, he'll dive in just to remind everyone he's still here. Now fans are pointing it out loud and clear. Drake's not just emotional, he's petty. Instead of locking in on his next drop, he's out here inserting himself in rap wars that got nothing to do with him. All this drama just to stay part of the conversation. Drake saw Nas on Pusha T's album, a rapper who's been coming at him for years and couldn't help himself. He jumped in, backed Jim Jones, and threw slick shade at Nas. And honestly, it checks out. Drake's whole legacy is built on loyalty tests, power moves, and controlling the story. He moves like a boss, but the second someone steps out of line, cut off. No warning, no smoke signals, just ice-cold silence. He only keeps people around who salute him on command. So yeah, him inserting himself into this Jim versus Nas madness, not surprising. What is surprising? How calm Nas is staying through all of it. No tweets, no interviews, no disses, just silence. He's unbothered while Drake's out here scrambling to keep the spotlight. Meanwhile, fans are tuned into the real heat, that upcoming Clipse album. We're talking Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar, Nas, and Pharrell all on the same project. That's not a feature lineup. That's a lyrical super team. And Drake, he better stop playing chess with Jim Jones and start sharpening his pen. Cause it's looking like war season is around the corner. If you're ready for more chaos, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your take on this whole mess. And don't forget to share this video with your crew, because this saga is just getting started. See you on the next one.